All right, let's just keep this thing rolling. I'm going to bring up our next speaker. Bri Milano really likes being outside, so much so that she decided to live in the forest for 6 months. Bri, take it away.
On October 20th, 2019, or 2018, day 178, I finished hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. I walked across California, Oregon, and Washington, over 2,650 miles of 60 mountain passes through 25 national forests, 6 national parks, and enough elevation gain to summit Everest 16 times, finally making it to Canada. When I first got the permit, I told myself, no, there's no way. Are you crazy? You can't do this alone. You don't have the money, you don't have the time. But the question kept coming back, what if? Dead space. I know this looks like a lot, but when you're staring down 2,650 miles, 25 boxes over 3 states does not seem that bad. Small goals, people. You start telling your friends and family, making yourself accountable. It just becomes, your dream basically becomes something real. When you start telling people, they act like you're going to space and you're never coming back. They ask questions like, how long does that take? What are you going to eat? Where are you going to sleep? How are you going to tell time? Are you going by yourself? You can't do that. You're a girl. That's dangerous, isn't it? Are you bringing a gun? What about bears and bad guys? The moment for me, this is when it felt real, when I was standing at this monument. Before this, I could quietly quit, fall into the background, have everyone forget. But standing here, I knew I had to commit. I was excited, anxious, afraid, but most of all happy. I thought the hardest part was behind me. Spoiler, it was not. So you plan and you plan to leave your life behind. But what happens when you get out there? It's too hard. The conditions are too poor. You get injured, you fail. One morning I woke up with pain shooting up my back and down my legs. I didn't know it yet, but I had just herniated 2 discs in my lower back. I was alone in the wilderness, 5 miles from anywhere, and could barely breathe, let alone walk. I was high on painkillers and adrenaline, managed to hike those 5 miles out, and flagged down some day hikers. Tears were running down my face as their huskies licked my chin. I was afraid that this was it. I was never going to get back on trail, and I had only made it to mile 299. I spent the next 4 days in Lake Arrowhead, recuperating and feeling the love and support from a warm mountain community. They gave me yoga, food, a place to stay, and mom's special brownies. I got back on trail, and I was alone. You start talking to yourself out loud a lot. And you also like to grace every animal with a, hey bud, how's it going? Secretly hoping they respond back to you. I'm all for being that, strong, independent woman in the wilderness, but sometimes you just gotta have people around. And these people are ride or die. These are my trail family. They saw me at my highest highs and my lowest lows. They kept me on trail on days when I just felt like quitting. And without them, I definitely would not have finished. They're amazing. So what happens when night falls? I'm in my sleeping bag, dozing off, and I can't help but think that I'm a warm burrito snack for any passing wildlife. That night, I hear someone scream, and soon there's earth crashing around me. I'm stumbling for my headlamp, and in a moment of panic, I shout, "Bear!" to the entire camp at 2 in the morning. Behind me, Bambi. Super mortifying, okay? Did not live that one down. Aside from a couple weird encounters with a curious mountain lion, a couple rattlesnakes, some bears, and a plethora of skunks, you learn to love the dark. It becomes comfortable. You often need the sounds of the dark to lull you to sleep at night. But what about people? As I'm standing outside this Vons in Big Bear, California, this groovy guy is shouting across the street at me frantically, like, "You need to ride to town, you need to ride to trail, where are you going?" I jumped in the back of his windowless van, obviously. I knew it was okay though, because Bob, or on trail as he's known as Grateful Dad, was giving rides to hikers in need. I'm all for stranger danger, I get it, but sometimes you have to hitch, and it's awesome. My best known hitch to date was in Stehekin, Washington, about 100 miles from the Canadian border, where I convinced a pickup truck to take me and 10 of my closest friends to the trailhead. You see, as a solo female hiker, I'm known as a ride bride, where my friends hide in the bushes while I get people to stop. But what happens with the elements, right? You're hiking, the storm is horrible, there's rain, and it's torrential. You hike for 16 miles without stopping for food or water. You're cold, damp, exhausted, hypothermic. Luckily, and out of some miracle, we hiked 8 miles to Alwali Lake the next morning. The lodge owner took one look at us, and he was like, "Oh, sweet baby angels," and gave us a place to stay for the night with a wood stove to dry our kit, a gallon bag of spaghetti and meatballs from the night before, and half a chocolate cake. It was amazing. It's true what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Having a positive mindset is key, and a mantra can keep you going. Soon you're pressing your limits, 10 miles a day, 13 miles in 4 hours, and setting personal records like 31 miles in a day. So what happens when you push and you push and you push, and suddenly it's over? You exit the forest in Canada, and you're dropped ground zero into bustling society, expected to pick up right where you left off. You feel like you're in some kind of a daze, a dream, and grief hits you hard. You mourn that loss of life, but then you feel silly because you haven't lost anything at all. The trail is there. I'm still me. I just want different things. I no longer fit that shell that I created for myself before I left. So whether it's the fear of failure, loneliness, the dark, trusting humanity, death, or life after trail, these are the memories that I remember the most, the ones that I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. So I invite you to go fearward in everything you pursue. Because when you are the most afraid is when you're closest to change. And chasing that uncertainty, you never know where it will take you. Thank you.